welcome to episode 28 of A Pickled Adventure. My name is LilaPickle, and over my shoulder is Bobbin, meowing as she always does because she is excited for this episode. And so should you. So what are we going to be doing in this episode? Well, if we come up these stairs, hit our head a few times on the fence, we're going to be working in these two areas right here. Yes, today is the day I'm going to be doing my villagers. Finally. So I'm not entirely sure if I have gone through this system with you guys before or even on camera, but the first thing I do need to do is go and grab my name tags that I've forgotten. Okay, name tags in hand. We have these two lovebirds. I need to crouch up here. Hi! They're currently silenced, but I'm not entirely sure why I silenced them, seeing as their offspring are herming in the chamber below. So, but I'm going to name these guys anyway. So that's Raoul, and you are Solvi. Lovely. Splendid. It's nice to have names, isn't it? I love naming things. Well, the next part of that process is getting them out of said chamber, along this mass tunnels of herm, I guess. They get to meet Wiggo, who is our zombie down there. If any of you guys have watched that video, we got Wiggo in his spot. Hi Wiggo, how you doing? He's sharpened his sword by the looks of it. Looks shiny. That's good. Yes, you're going to need it. And we're going to put his sword and him through his paces. And we're going to get our villagers into this area through here. Whoops, that's my face. That's a fence post. This little area through here, which is all nice and bright in here. I love it in here. It's great. I love it. And yes, well, these are the booths. We're going to pop them in here, put the set their trades. This is the trading hall. We're going to set their trades. This guy over here already has his trade. He is the Frostwalker 2, and he was the guy that managed to get Frostwalker on my boots for the gold farm last episode. And yes, we're basically going to transformography them or whatever, zombificate them round and round until I get them to an acceptable level. And then we're going to be booping our beeps over here and sending them on their merry way. Which down here we have heaven. Heaven is where they get placed in their booth, i.e. I keep them. And then we have this track which has two different paths. Purgatory, where they get to be smacked by Wiggo again and again and again, possibly. Or they get to go to hell, which is down there, which is lovely. And that's where I can deprive them of their head, basically, and use it for decoration, because that's what we do in Minecraft, right? That's totally acceptable. So to begin this process, we need to get them out of the chamber, and for that I'm going to need to grab my apples so that I'm ready. I also didn't mention that through here there is actually the splash system, which splashes them with the potions of weakness. They go along this little bit of track it triggers, and the dispenser, I believe, is just behind that wall. And it works really well, because before I had the dispenser exposed. But this is much nicer, much cleaner. And also I can restock my potions from my little potion area underground. I've added a little track to it so that I don't have to keep coming up here and going back and forth, so that's made it much easier. So, the first thing we need to do is make sure our tracks are in the right way, and typically this track comes straight across and down towards Wiggo. So, we're going to push the button, boop. We're going to send one of our villagers on his merry way. He gets punched a few times. Splendid. We come over here, we push this magic button right here. He'll get splashed. Perfect. And I didn't pick a booth. Oh no! Ho ho ho! Mistakes have been made already. This is gonna hurt. Are you gonna go in? Oh, splendid. Right. Yes. There is a little bit of manual labour in this system, and I actually have to choose which booth to pop them in before I push the button, which I didn't do. Right. Let's give him an apple and let him do the shake a bake. Shake a bake, shake a bake, shake a bake, shake a bake. Right. While he's cooking, we can be getting another villager, and this time I'm going to make sure I boop one of these. So now the next villager, when they get splashed, they'll come straight into this booth next to this fine chap. Hello, nice to meet you, sir. Didn't want Frostwalker 2, did you, you pest? So we run all the way back through here. We boop the button. Villager goes along, goes down here, says hello to Wiggo. Wiggo gives him a present. We push the button. And we meet and greet them at the end of the track with our apple in hand. Boop. And another important thing is to flip the lever back over. Otherwise, they'll end up going back all the way through to Wiggo. I think that's how I have this set. So this is basically my little control panel. If this lever was up, then they would go straight along here and they would go to heaven, which is where all villagers want to go if they have the right trades. If we boop this one down, it will not take them to heaven. And you'll see this bit of track is actually turned to the left. This bit of track is turned down towards hell, so they'll go straight over and they'll get back all the way down there and come out right over here, which is where that little bit of track comes up to. They'll come back around along this track and back down to Wiggo. So they get to go around and see Wiggo a good number of times until I'm satisfied. I do believe the official amount is 5. 5 is the maximum. But yes, if we want to send them back round, then that's how we do so. They then go back round this track, and then you have to make sure that you set the right booth. They get splashed again, and the process repeats itself. However, if we boop this lever down, so now we've got the white one down, we've got the red one down, the track over here remains in position to go left, and then it goes right, and they go down, basically, to hell. There's a lot of drips. Drippy, drippy. But anyway, yes, so that is how my little control system works. I'm very proud of this control system and how I managed to fit it in. It is quite cramped up here, but I like it. It's quite functional. They're still shaking and baking. Super. So I am going to get on with this project, and I will bring you back should any mishaps happen, any comments occur, or anything else. Otherwise, enjoy the process, and hopefully we can get a good number of villagers done and dusted. My aim is to work on the ones that I can sell to first, and then get my librarians in, because the librarians are going to be the real problem. They can sometimes take forever to get the right books that you want. So, let's go! Okay, we're going to pause it right there because we have a teensy tiny minuscule problem with the footage ahead. You see, this numpty right here forgot to unmute her microphone and ended up talking to herself for a clear 20 minutes. So, the footage ahead, we're going to have to do a little voice-over acting just so that we can explain what has gone wrong and how much more of a numpty I actually am. You see, this guy in the hole here should not be here. He should have been sent back round to Wiggo, and instead I boofed him by accident. As you can see, his trades are not perfect, so we need to get him out of his hole and back round to the sorting hall, whereby we can then send him back round to Wiggo. Some pistol pushing later, I managed to get him out of the hole, and after checking the rails to make sure everything was okay, I booped him back down the track and had a little celebration of my efforts. However, after a short monologue with myself, he returned to sender. Yes, he came right back and booped me in the face. I then proceeded to laugh my head off because it was funny. And then I kind of scratched my head a little bit and was like, "Hi, dude, what are you doing here? That wasn't supposed to happen, was it?" Upon investigating all the way down to the end, I found that the hills here do not have any powered rails. I didn't feel this was necessary at the time, as these guys are meant to only go down the track and not come back up. So he lost momentum halfway up, probably this hill, and rolled all the way back down the bottom. So, simple fix, I just placed in some powered rails to ensure that he'd make it all the way back up to the top. I then proceeded back all the way through the system to make sure that everything else was calibrated correctly. As you can see, it's a very long trek. And once I made it back to our villager, I gave him a nudge to get him on his way and saw him back up at the sorting halls so he can be sent back round to Wiggo and we can get his trades as low as possible. Phew! I think that explains everything, and so now it's time to get back to work. Oh my goodness, this takes so much time. But it's done. Well, one haul of it has been done. This haul right here is done. In the meantime, I've also done the butchers and the fishermen. And obviously down in this section we have all of the farmers that I was working on during the replay mod stuff. And they're all in. They're all boofed. They're all done. Finally. Unfortunately, some of these guys seem to have increased their prices, and I do have a feeling that perhaps I didn't send all of them around enough times. So I might boop some of these back up to Wiggo, see if we can get their trades down. But majoritively, I'm very happy with the results. I haven't traded with some of these just yet. I've mostly done the crops that I have an abundance of, which was the carrots and potatoes, the pumpkins and the melons. So some of these are already master level, some of them are not. And I have also been trading with them. It's a little bit quieter here. They're not so loud up here, thankfully. But yes, as I said, I have been trading with them, and I got a nice supply of emeralds. just a few, you know, just a few. So now I've got to decide what trades I want to use to buy with my emeralds. Possibly food, most definitely food, and obviously gear and equipment once we get the other villagers in place. So those farmers, butchers and fishermen are on the floor below us right now, and I'm going to be working on this floor I think next. So down the end here we have our leather workers and our shepherds. We have a nice supply of stonemasons for all of my quartz needs if I have any in the future, which I probably will do. I also have quite a few fletchers, mostly because bamboo, sticks, I'm probably going to end up with a lot of those. I may not be building with the new bamboo blocks very, very quickly. But yeah, for now we can trade. Also, I can get some arrows, so I'm hoping to get some decent special arrows out of some of these guys, which will be good for future battles, exploration, adventure, because we've got that coming up very, very soon. And obviously the very important people, the VIPs, the armor smiths, weaponsmiths, and the toolsmiths that we'll need to restock our supplies of all that gear when we die, which will be, let's face it, inevitable. Inevitable, especially with the battles we have to come up in the future. The Ender Dragon, the Wither, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, this is all I have time for on this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. It has been a long process for me, but I am very proud and very happy with the results that I have from this video. So, this area is developing very well. I hope you'll join me in the next episode. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye!